My name is Erin, so welcome to Draw to Connect. Erin Gordon. I am from DC and really Virginia. So if you pick up an accent, you got it. You're right. I'm from Southwest Virginia. And I own a company called Wayfind. We do mostly visual facilitation and a lot of consulting. I work with customers all over the world and a little bit of graphic recording. So you've watched us. Graphic recording is what we call what you're seeing over here that Peepo is doing with us. So for today will be a little bit of a trainer and you'll see us playing a lot of different hats. But again, I'm Erin. You can call me Hey Girl. You can call me anything you like. I will answer to a lot of things, but welcome. Really glad you're here. And Olina is my co-facilitator. Who are you?
So I'm Olina. I'm an Agile coach and a visual communicator. I'm the founder of a company called the Visual Agile Coach. You can find on LinkedIn. And regarding accents, I'm from Sweden, so you might hear some Swedish. I apologize for that beforehand. You just have to cope with it. I'm sorry about that. A couple of years ago, someone asked me, how did you get into this? And a couple of years ago, I was working as a product manager, and I had one of my tasks was to produce lots and lots of status reports. Like every week I had to put together a status report and send it out to all the stakeholders, right? And even though no one ever read it, no one even opened that email, I think. And one day I had this bold idea. I was like, I have been drawing all my life. I have that as a hobby and so on. I love that so much. Why don't I incorporate that in my daily job? So I decided to make a sketch note of the status report one day instead, sort of visualizing like people will do for you guys today of this session. So I put together text and images instead to a visual and send that out instead. And it was like, wow, what an effect that had. People were engaging, they were asking questions about the content, and it was like, wow, I'm onto something here. So what I did there, put together text and images. That's sort of what we're going to teach you today or inspire you to do. We're going to help you build out your visual toolkit. That's what we're going to do today.
Thanks for that. Yeah. One thing that we failed to mention, it's worth saying, how on earth did the three of us get together? Yeah, so we are a team. There are 7 of us. You're watching us all around, and we are representing Drawify. Anybody that joined the morning session? Anybody? One person. What did you hear from Estelle on stage? Do you remember?
Just the session now at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, the power of giving compliments.
The power of giving compliments. Good. Did you hear anything about Drawify? No.
I think that's happening now.
That's happening now. They are behind. Okay.
They are behind.
They're really behind. All right, my friends. So Estelle is the founder of a company called Drawify, really embracing the power of visual storytelling and helping you with a platform that enables you to do a lot of what we're doing. So we'll talk more about Drawify, but that's what really binds us. We're a group of illustrators that really have a passion for, if you will, giving the power of visual storytelling to others and making that accessible via some technology tools. So that's what binds us as a foot stomp or a reminder of what, indeed, of what Olina said. Yeah, so leverage your visual toolkit. What is the visual toolkit? We'll talk a little about that. The main thing, it's only an hour or less at this point. Learning just how to connect with your visuals drawing self, right? Learning how to connect. That's one thing we really hope you get out of this. Our asks, we already had to experiment with it, is be open, be curious. Some of the things we may ask you to do, you're gonna look at us and go, huh? So we'd encourage you to be as open and curious with your mind as possible to be successful in this workshop. Some other things, leaning into discomfort, it might feel awkward. And when it does, you're doing it right. Really doing it right. So it's a stretch rather than a flex today. Last up, take space and make space. We will ask you to talk. We'll give you timestamps. So take some space, talk. Engage with each other, and then will you make the space too? So make sure that you're giving your other person time, and phones are really good for that. So by all means, feel free to, when I ask, use a timer to help you. Okay. Those are just some grounds for us to be successful. Does that work? Can that work for us today? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Alina's gonna warm us up.
Yeah, all right, so let's get started. Some of you guys already were introduced to warming up exercise, but we're going to do one together. So I want you to grab one piece of paper, preferably in portrait mode. I want you to start to draw out a couple of circles. Or if you just follow my lead like this. Just fill your paper with circles like this.
Just came in, welcome, jump in.
Thank you.
Yep, just came in, no worries.
So something like that. Fill it with more circle, that's perfectly fine. Right, you got that? So just to warm up your creative part of your brain, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to turn each and one of these circles, as many circles as you can, into an object. All right, let's start now. Seconds left. All right, wrap that up. How was that? Was it hard? It's a great way to just warm up your hands and your creative part of your brain. So when you want to sit down and do some drawing, this is a great way to just start, just get it going.
Is somebody willing to share?
Oh, awesome.
Nice. Take a look around, y'all. Take a look around at your work. Notice how different.
Hey, I got a bike too.
Nice.
Can I take a photo of you guys?
Some bikes, some balls, some my first one, I don't even know what it is. And I want to do is basketball, I didn't know what it was not.
Welcome back.
A lot of cases. They went on and. Got a four circles.
Welcome back. I do have a bit of a chime. If you do hear the chime, I'll slowly let it ring out itself. To come back. We will get loud several times. So what Olina just had you do, oh, and one more question. I'm gonna need to get to know the audience a little bit. One more question of you. Who's done drawing classes before? Or stuff like this before?
Because engineering drawing.
We had to do engineering drawing.
Yes.
Engineering drawing.
Does graffiti count? Does graffiti count?
So we're small enough that I can ask some of these questions, get to know you a little bit more, figure out, hey, what's really needing already in your toolkit, right? So leveraging some of what's already there. All of us inherently have this within us. Picasso's great quote of, we're always working back to the visual and the coloring that we did as children. So know that this is inherently within you. I have a script, so let's do this. I want to offer you this. What Olina just had you do was draw circles. That's one of what we like to say is an ideograph. Here I go, pictograph. We'll work to ideographs in a moment. A pictograph of what is the building blocks of most art, most drawings. So I'm going to review them with you, and we're going to draw them together. You're going to use those as a key to then build out your drawings throughout the rest of this time we have together. All right, so I'm going to draw it with you. Grab a new piece of paper. All right, with that new piece of paper together, please make it landscape, so horizontal. Black for you. From here. So you can, if you will, if this is your piece of paper.
That one.
That's great. Thank you, ma'am. So this piece of paper that you've got, go ahead and put your key, the small key, put it all here. I'm gonna draw it large, make it small in your paper, okay? So put everything I'm about to do right here. There's not many.
What's key? What do you mean?
You're about to find out.
Oh.
You're about to find out. In fact, it wasn't quite done yet. So moving slowly with directions, in case there's different languages in the room. So we're going to build out an alphabet that will inevitably be a key for drawing, or if you will, a way of looking at these are building blocks. So building blocks to your work. Stay with me, all right? First one, so keep most of what I'm drawing right here in the top left is what I'm saying to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, keep most of what we're about to draw in the top left of this piece of paper. We're gonna come back to this piece of paper, all right? So from here, draw a dot. That is letter number 1. A dot that went for a walk is a line. I'm drawing them large, you're drawing them up to top left. If you don't, by the way, it's okay. Next is this figure, a carrot. Please continue with a half circle.
Just want to draw that.
Please follow along drawing. Please follow along drawing. So we have a dot that went for a walk or a line. We've got a carrot symbol. We've got a half circle. Okay. You are drawing a spiral. A loop. It's called many things. One of the basic building blocks you already learned, a circle. Welcome back. An oval. Triangle. Square. Sort of like a pentagon. Sort of like a pentagon or a chevron. And then a cloud. There's no right way to draw it. There's no perfect way to draw it. So when we do these types of classes, what we like to invite you to do is start simple, start basic, start with building blocks. And this is called, in many cases, the visual alphabet. It was created by David Gray a long time ago. There are slightly different versions of it. I gave you the most expanded. So this is the most expanded that you'll see out there. The rationale is a lot of the things around us are created, nearly all things around us, if we look around at our objects, are created with these functional shapes for the most part. Okay. So Olina is going to take you through an exercise to expand on this in a moment. But for example, let's talk maybe hot air balloon. If I think about a hot air balloon, technically it's a circle, right? It's got lines. And then it's really got a few boxes. We can end up being a hot air balloon. What's another object? What's another object? A plane. What's in the plane?
An oval.
An
The
oval.
oval. Looks like an oval. You could add wings to it. You might need a little contour. Maybe there's a triangle in it. There may be a triangle here, right? It starts to build itself out. So as we move through this workshop together, our ask of you, why it's a key or like a visual for you to use, these icons, or excuse me, these pictographs, what we're asking you to do is maintain those, use those as you draw, like today. Aim for those, start with those. Level up as you wish, but start here in the foundations. So for example, if I'm thinking about the hot air balloon, or if I'm thinking about a bicycle, or if I'm thinking about anything that we ask you to come up with an image, these are what you're going to be drawing with. Start with these. Okay. So everybody has their key. Everybody has their basic building blocks. Okay. Step 1 of a visual toolkit. Let's figure out the blocks we're going to build with. Yeah. Okay. From here, Olina is going to have you use them a little further. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
on this board.
Excellent.
All right, so I just want you to follow my lead and draw exactly what I draw, all right? Let's put this visual alphabet into practice.
On the same page as we used for here.
No, take another paper. And all right, let's start with the circle again. So let's make circle.
Page, right? Yeah, front page, front page.
Page, yes.
Portrait landscape, portrait landscape.
Doesn't matter.
You can tell we're very good at doing what we're told, so we always wanna know, what are we supposed to do?
Actually, this one, use your creative juices any
Yeah.
way you want.
If this is your page, let's start here somewhere, all right? Okay, let's start with the circle. Let's put two triangles on top of it. Two dots, a tiny triangle. Lines. And put a cap, right? Perfect. Now I want you to draw another circle next to it and a line connecting that. Let's write number 1 on that one. And then moving on, let's try the circle again. Let's fill a straw man out here. Couple of lines. We have a person. And that's our number 2. And then let's try a square like this. Triangle on top. Let's make it into a house. Window there. A rectangle is a door. That's our number 3. Okay, let's move on and let's try the cloudy one. Let's do that shape here. 2 straight lines, maybe a few more underneath. Oh, we have a tree, right?
Notice as Olina is working, notice the shapes, right? Notice the building blocks.
Yeah. So let's do a triangle again, a little broader one. Cut in half. And let's try half circle thingy here. Some waves. We have a boat. Let's move down here. Let's do a rectangle here. 9. Another line. Circles, and we have a bus. Put some people in it as well. That's our number 6. And then we have the last one. So now I'm going to draw 2 triangles, sort of like a diamond from a thingy. Another triangle, dot. That's right. Some bubbles here as well. Got that? Right. Now, the beautiful thing with images is that when you see a picture like this, your mind sort of goes click. So you will create a mental image of this quite quickly. And let's try it out let's now put your paper away. So our mind has a beautiful ability to remember images. And not only how the images looked, but also sort of where they were placed on a page. So if I were to ask you now, so let's try to find the tree. So I'm going to ask you where the tree is on this page. Now let's try it out. And only when I point to the right place on this, you raise your hand, okay? The tree over here. Is it over here? Is it over here?
Yes.
Thank goodness. All right. Cool.
Should we do one more? That was fun.
Thinking of the time, I don't think we should.
So the idea that we've walked through, just as a recap, we have people trickling in, so I'm gonna bring them up. We started out with this idea of just thinking through the ease of what it's like to find your creative self. Okay, we mentioned the purpose of the class being around learning how to connect with your drawing self, putting a little bit into your visual toolkit, maybe amplifying what's there or remembering what's there. We talked a little about that. Bless you, bless you, bless you. And then we quickly reviewed after a warm-up of circles, which were stunning, by the way. We did the visual alphabet. And visual alphabet are just building blocks. So if you just walked in, would you share your picture? Go ahead and write that on a piece of paper. Grab a piece of paper out if you're brand new. And make sure you have that on a piece of paper, ideally horizontal and on your top left. If you haven't done it yet, those that have done it, thanks for humoring the review and catching people up. From there, most of you just walked in to look at like visual recall. It's like why on earth use visuals? Very often it's sticky. We can keep it in our brain. And Olina just sort of showed you that oh, I can lightly remember it. Yeah. Ask of you, who uses visuals in their reports, their stories, their work? Anybody use visuals? Yeah. How does it go? How does it work out? Better, worse? What happens? What's your experience with it?
It's better.
Like why?
Yeah, because well, I work in the legal tech, so legal design is one of the branches
Yeah.
that we use. And for the contracts or that we make for our clients, it's better. They like it more, they feel more entertained even reading it. It's not the old traditional way, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Interesting. Anyway, thanks.
I lead process excellence, so most of our communication with leadership is through mapping our process through visuals.
Yeah, mapping and making connections with it, yeah. Anyone else have something they want to offer? Yeah.
So I work in health tech, so we use visual arts like bar graphs to relate the trends.
Uh-huh.
And we use
Perfect.
even flowcharts to describe how the algorithm or process works.
Yeah, pulling in visualization, right, to help communicate complexity, to help understand meaning. Why I'm asking about some of your examples. On occasion, there'll be someone, nobody's mentioned it yet, but you might be thinking this, well, they don't always work. Doesn't always land. Happens to us all the time. One thing that's really interesting is we have this idea around meaning to visuals. We attach meaning to visuals. A good example would be like signs, street signs. We have natural meanings to visuals. Sometimes we have a common understanding. Other times we don't. Other times we don't. If I asked you to draw me an object, which I'm not asking you to draw, but if you could imagine the object or imagination, what would you say? What would you draw? Imagination, what would you draw? Anyone?
Like a bubble.
Yeah, like a
Bubble, cloud, what else?
Light bulb.
Light bulbs,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Let's think about something different. Somebody give me a word. Any word.
Butterfly.
Butterfly, okay. Butterfly is an example of a pictograph. Imagination is a concept or an idea.
Sadness.
Sadness, right? How would we draw sadness? I'll physically embody it. Expression is really key. That's level 202 of this class, which I love. It's the idea of like, it could look like this, but for some it could look like this, but for some it could look like this, right? We have movement in our body that communicates sadness. It could be a coffee cup. You could anamorphize it, right? And it can look different. The idea here I wanna impress before we move on to our next thing is this. There's pictographs, which are also very much our visual alphabet, right? That we know that are common imagery, right? We have associations that are shared. Pictographs versus ideographs, they're conceptual things. So there's like physical objects, things that we have notional names. There's other things that are concepts. That's where the meaning is, visual recall and meaning, often that we're trying to get at. So it's those ideographs, or those concepts or ideas or images, the complexity is associated with that. You can see it in visualization. You can also see it when we layer in all these objects. We start to build the blocks to create visuals that communicate concepts. So visual meaning is what I'm getting at. Visual metaphors is what I'm saying. So want you to think for yourselves, and we're gonna give you some time for this. I want to think for yourselves about, and I believe I have it written down, so I'm gonna give you the actual text as well. I want you to think about, and do me a favor, focus here. Think about three words that represent how you are changing lives as a leader. Our theme today for this conference is changing lives. So think about for yourself, what are three words, up to 5 or more if you wish, that describe or recall the essence of how you're changing lives as a leader. Think about those. Please write those down right underneath your visual vocabulary. Please write those down underneath your visual vocabulary. You just have some time. I'm gonna give you a minute to do it. You need to be really intentional about it. Reflect on your own journey. Yeah, we'll step through everything together, just focusing on that first block. How are you, your work, you're changing lives as a leader? I want to make sure everybody's up to this. All right, from here, join me. And it's up to you. If you sense for yourself that you'd like to get off of that piece of paper that has the visual vocabulary, you can use a new sheet. Otherwise, grab your visual vocabulary sheet of paper out and do me this favor. That looks like, you gotta get rid of this. Together, so if this is your sheet of paper, however many words that you've come up with, you'll want that number of boxes. So if I have 3 words, I want 3 boxes and ask you to evaluate your space. But please draw enough boxes for your number of words. So if I had 5, maybe I want one to be bigger. There's no right way to do this. You do not have to follow me, just demonstrating. Please draw yourself a few boxes, give yourself some structure. And at the top or somewhere around it, but we'll pause that, rewind. What I'd like for you to do from here is write each word in the box, wherever you'd like it, You're building yourself in each straight. So write your words, one in each box. My first word was creativity, that would be in box 1. My next word was, oh, here you go. Got it? Thank you. Yeah. Time to do that. Once you're complete with that, we're going to be asking you to do is imagine, and I'm imagining that there is maybe a story associated with the word. It's your choice. You're welcome to add some text to that word if you'd like. Where we're going is please draw using that visual vocabulary, using your visual alphabet. We'll get to vocabularies later. Your visual alphabet, please use those shapes as a starter to draw out those images or those words. So if my first word was creativity, use those building blocks here to get started on drawing those concepts out. So for creativity, start drawing it out. For Olina, what's the word? Sorry, what was one of your words?
Connecting.
Connecting. So start drawing it out. I'm gonna give you roughly, start with 7 minutes. We have plenty of time. Yeah, and don't feel pressured by that time, letting you know. And I'll watch, right? I'll watch how you're doing. We have time for this. Take time to draw out your words. Those words that describe how you're changing lives. I'm gonna ask for a question in a moment. The only other thing I'll say is this. If you think I could go further here, or I feel boxed in by my box, you're welcome to add a new sheet of paper. That's okay. And then please stick with, for this activity, black and white. Please stick with black and white. Any questions about what I'm asking you to do?
So do we draw inside the box? Or
Inside the box. Yeah. And if you happen to go outside of it, there's a story there. That's great. Just giving you a structure to start from. Resist the urge to black it out. Resist the urge to not like it. Resist the narrative in your head that might be saying, oh, this is terrible. Resist all that. Choose to stay really open to what's possible in your work. No. Often we need inspiration. Go get it. We all have a phone in our hands. So if you'd like to look for an image, go for it. All I ask is stay with the visual alphabet we've learned. find the figures, find the shapes, the alphabet within the actual image you pick. So if you go and look for that word online, just look for the shapes within, right? Look for the alphabet within that image and start to draw it. Go for it. Got about, I'd like to give us at least 3 more minutes and then see how we're doing. You notice you got stuck in your phone all of a sudden? I'd
Yes,
invite you
this
to
is
take it,
horrible.
I'd invite you to take it away. It can be good and it can be bad.
Why can't I draw gears?
In a moment, you're gonna get a chance to work with a buddy and have that conversation. You just wait.
Oh, no, we have to show people.
We talked about that. All right, gonna give it another 10 seconds and then there's next step. All right, so what did we just ask you? What did I technically ask you to do just now?
Draw a concept.
Draw a concept. Yeah. What else? Bless you. What else did you just do?
Visualize.
Visualize. Yeah, you did. Something personal, which is even harder, by the way. Very hard to do. There's an attachment to it. So then there's a way I want it to look. That's difficult. So well done. So you did something hard just now. The other thing you did is you were thinking visually. You were thinking visually. So I was asking you to think about a concept, think about something that maybe has some attachment, and to think about it in visuals. Any questions about what I've asked you to do so far, or the concepts that we've been building on? I just learned when I caught someone up, we've learned a lot. Okay, so from here, yes, we are gonna share. We are, and I'll share with you. Every time. So my ask of us is this. So my ask of us is this, remember the basics of our workshop, right? Stay open, stay curious. Okay, and I'll add this, there's some instruction to the share out. So you got some structure to work with then, okay? Step 1. It may feel like a story and it may not. My ask of you is to talk through the visuals, right? Talk through the visuals. Resist the urge, my friends, resist the urge to say, this is what I don't like about it. Resist the urge to talk about the process of drawing. Tell your story. Tell about how you're changing lives through your work. Look at what you've just done. Be proud of it. I said that earlier, be proud of it. Tell your story. You're gonna get 6 minutes to do it. I'm gonna give you a moment to think about it before we get together in pairs. I'm gonna give you a moment to think about what you wanna say. You wanna add some text, you can. If you wanna add some images, you can. If you wanna add some connectors, drawing to connect, you can. That's step 1. Step 2, listeners reflect. My listeners, and I've written the prompt for you. Please be ready to reflect what you heard, specifically about how they're changing lives. If a visual stood out to you, like one of the drawings, express to them why or how. Okay? Share with them what you heard, actively listen specifically about how they're changing lives. Then from there, that's 3 minutes. Storyteller, the person that shared the story, so the you that was receiving the listener's reflection, please share what you appreciated most about what you just heard. What you appreciated most about what you just heard. It's actually not, it's a very structured dialogue. So that's it. That's it. That is a roundabout, a 20-minute, right? So it's 2 people. So we've got a 10-minute slot for one of you and then 10-minute slot for the other. So then you'll switch. Storytell 6 minutes, listeners listening and then reflecting. And then storyteller back to you. What you appreciate about what you heard. So that's the move. Any questions about the process itself? Okay, I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds just to think about what would I want to say? What is my story? I want to give you a moment to do that, and then I'll explain how you're gonna find your pair. All right, take 30 seconds individually just to think it through.
So are we supposed to use this visuals
Yeah.
in the dialogue?
Yes, you'll use what you just did. Yeah, I had some workshop rules for a reason. It can feel uncomfortable. For some, it's a lot of fun. We all react a little differently to it. And the ask is to notice it. Notice it and go with it. Notice it and go with it. The other thing to say about this, I had the opportunity to work one-on-one and some themes that came up, maybe they came up for you, maybe they didn't. So I'll offer this and continuing your practice. Like, keep doing this today. You started, keep doing it. And I'm gonna draw a couple things to help you keep going today. One is this, in our themes, it's easy to get stuck drawing people. Did anybody notice that? It's like you keep wanting to draw people.
Yes.
People on every hour of the box.
And like every word needs it's so frustrating. It happens to all of us, the best of us. So and anamorphism and like starting to make cups and coffee and things, humans can be tricky. A favor of us, back up for a little bit. People, wherever that visual alphabet is, hang that thing.
Okay.
It's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally those three, those top three, or the dot, the line, and that angle, or that caret. Those things can literally make people, my friends. Those can make people. Don't forget, it can be that simple. It can be that simple. It can be that simple,
Nice.
right? It can be simple. Let it be simple. Let it be simple.
No, it's a Christmas tree.
Let it, yeah, it can be a Christmas tree. But then if you're like, that doesn't work for me, if that doesn't work for me, there's star people. Like, and you can just ditch people. Just make the circle, with legs. Make the circle with legs and say hello. Okay, right? So my encouragement to you is to think about how you can use the basic shapes. Think about how you can use the basic alphabet. Those first three, dot, line, and angle, that's really the base of anything, elements of art. Okay, so think about how simple you can make it. The other thing, yes, I'm watching it. Granted, we were a little late. So if we go a couple minutes over, is that okay? Like 2 minutes, 1 minute? Okay, we won't, but in case. The other thing to say about it is often you'll notice when you were writing out your word, it ended up being maybe a bit of a complexity. Like I'll use our example if that's all right, it's in my brain, of this idea of diversity and inclusion. The word might have been inclusion, but there was another term underneath it. Think about then both, right? Then go ahead and draw both. I asked you to identify one concept, but if there's more, fuse it as you draw. The other thing to say that's pressing for me is behind a lot of those concepts is the feeling. It's the emotion. It might be what you spoke to. Leveling up the drawing gets into drawing the emotion of it, not so much the meaning itself. So for example, the sadness might be the human, but what's really important behind it is the physicality of that expression, right? So expressive drawing. You want really, yeah, you can actually make circles have a lot of expression, right? You can make circles have a lot of expression. It doesn't take much. Those are simple, but start simple and just keep building the muscle memory. Last thing I'll say, and then I'm turning it over to Olina, is this idea of, well, okay, a blank page can be intimidating. AI helped us with that. And it's still helping us with that. The ask of you is this: when you get to your blank page, it doesn't have to be, we like landscape around here, but it doesn't have to look like that. A lot of our notebooks are very vertical. Very, very vertical. So here's 2 vertical pages. We would encourage you to work from top to bottom for today, going horizontal. So maybe you write the title. You take a theme, a topic, a really important phrase, a quotable for you, something that sticks out, write that down, and then draw the image beside of it. Write the quotable, draw the image. Write the quotable, draw the image, and then just keep going. This is magazine style. You work all the way down, same thing. Keep going. Try that on as a layout. Doesn't work for you? Another is starting from the middle, like Olina did earlier. Start with the title in the middle, and then write something, draw it. Write something, draw it, and just keep moving. Best move, start here, go to the opposite. Start here, go to the opposite, and you'll fill out the whole page very nicely. You'll get a really nice layout. So those are some quick tips. Can you do me one favor? Can you show us your notes later? Yeah. Will you run up to us and show us your notes? Try this out. Like we have like not all week, but we have another day. If it's not working for you, we'll sit with you one-on-one. We're happy to help out. We'd love to let this be part of your real practice. Okay? It was really fun. It's great to work with you. Olina, what's next?
Next is just I think we have to wrap this up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep up with this as Erin is visualizing for you. There's so many books on this topic. I really encourage you to check that out. This podcast and so on. So seek out inspiration. It's everywhere. Do we have time for a Q&A? That's something I wonder about.
Yeah,
Let's take 1 minute.
if when you leave, if you have any questions, let us know. Anything else, Elena?
That's it.
I have some housekeeping. Two things. Please leave your orange pen. We have more workshops. It's a really nice pen. I know. I appreciate you for that. The other thing, I am told that professors need love and affection. I don't know if I believe it.
No problem.
Okay, no problem. And so, Ben, would you raise your hand? All right, over near Ben, there are some index cards. I am being told and asked, if you have a professor, would you just use one of those index cards, share some feedback, give a high five or whatever feedback you'd like. And we will collect it, we will take it. We are capturing that visually. And I think the only other thing is, ask us about Drawify later. I want you to be on time. So ask us about Drawify if you have questions or anything. We will be here. Have a great day. Thank you.